Okay, I think we'll start because we only have 45 minutes. So, welcome. Thank you for coming. My name is Isabel Pfaff. I'm working for Süddeutsche Zeitung, one of the biggest national dailies in Germany, for those who don't know us. Together with our correspondent, I'm covering Sub-Saharan Africa. And I am here with Ines Gakiza. Welcome. She's a 29-year-old radio journalist from Burundi, and she will tell us today about her work and about her country. But before I introduce her, let me give you a very brief description of her home country so that everyone knows what we're talking about. So Burundi is a, if I may say so, tiny country in Eastern Africa, the southern neighbor of Rwanda. And with Rwanda, Burundi is not only sharing a border, but also some characteristics, like having a majority of ethnic Hutu and a minority of Tutsi, and also like being a very densely populated country. There are approximately 10 million Burundians. Like Rwanda, Burundi has a very long history of conflict between Hutu and Tutsi, and only in 2005 a fragile peace was established in the country after the conflict parties were signing a peace agreement. But that peace did not last long. Last year in April, the president Pierre Nkurunziza, who came into power after the peace agreement, so 10 years ago, 11 years ago now, decided to run for a third presidential term, which, according to the constitution and the peace agreement, is not allowed. So Burundi was disrupted again by violence between forces loyal to the president and opposition groups. Until now, there is continuing violence against everybody who is critical of the government and of the third presidential term. So for journalists like Ines, Burundi has become a very dangerous place. Ines is here today in Germany, where she was invited to by the Foundation for Politically Persecuted People in Hamburg. She's staying in Germany for 1 year, supported by this Hamburg Foundation and by the Munich Association, Journalists Helping Journalists. To introduce her, Ines is working for the independent private radio station African Public Radio since 2011, and she's working for that radio until today, but not from Burundi. Like most of her colleagues, Ines had to flee the country. She first found refuge in Rwanda in May 2015, and now in Germany. So I'm very happy to have you here with us, and I would like to give you the word now, and afterwards we will have a small interview, and if there is time left, also with questions from the public. Yeah, so Ines, welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you to invite me and to give me that time. I begin by apologizing for my bad English. I come from a French country, so pay your attention so that you catch my message. As she presents me, my name is Ines Gakiza, a journalist from Burundi. After my study education since 2011, I started as trainer and was hired by African Public Radio. Since May 2015, with political troubles due to the third presidential term, I was obligated to flee and leave my country, Burundi. One may ask why, the deep root of my current status of exiled person. The answer is in the editorial line of African Public Radio. The African Public Radio that heard me has an editorial line, Voice of Voiceless. Its commitment, which is the commitment of all of us, I mean journalists who work at APR, is to carry away, as far as possible, the voice of non-educated people and all Burundians who have low social position and ignored. This commitment was the goal of the founders of our radio in 2001 and still is our current goal. As journalists, speaking and working in the sense of our editorial lines on behalf of voiceless category, we get involved in the process of seeking justice, requesting protection of many Burundians who were unjustly treated, who were killed and or irregularly detained. All this misbehaving was made by political leaders of the country on different levels and in various fields. People who saw that their leaders repressing them while they were supposed to protect them, then voiceless category, get more confident in our mega powers journalists. We picture their voices as far as possible. In number of cases, those leaders were obligated to restore the rights of voiceless category. However, in more complicated cases that involve strong political leaders or other public powerful men, especially in cases of assassination, hijacking public money, we face serious problems, death threats, and summons to intimidate us of imprisonment. Personally, I have never been convicted nor imprisoned, but some of my colleagues were imprisoned. But these problems, these risks, which were growing almost daily in proportion of the deterioration of situation in the country, did not prevent us from continuing our commitment. Being a journalist of APR in Burundi leads to two results. The majority of the population deeply appreciates the help we bring to them by risking our life for the sake of their freedom. On the other hand, inside the cycle of readers who are malicious, we were and still are considered as their worst enemies of their regime, and consequently under threat or already sentenced to death. Things get worse with the third presidential term of President Pierre Nkurunziza. For clarification, I have to inform you that Nkurunziza is the head of state of the country since 2005. He gets in power thanks to a very long peace agreement, and he's from a former rebel movement which stopped the war with the signing of Arusha peace agreements with the regime of the time being. This agreement was signed in 2000. Burundi's constitution stipulates that no president should go beyond 2 terms, meaning 10 years. Therefore, Pierre Nkurunziza was expected to leave state office last year after 2 terms of 5 years each, but he decided to run the 3rd term instead. Politicians from most of political parties, even inside its own party, civil society organizations have been warning that they will not allow him to violate the Constitution and the Arusha Agreement. Some facts have shown that the 3rd term was planned long before he was presented as the ruling party candidate. Members of the latter party were targeting those they considered as their enemies. They forced their political opponents to leaving the country by death, threatening those who do not flee. On April 26 last year, Pierre Nkurunziza was presented as candidate of the ruling party. This was the starting point of the political troubles. Demonstrations were organized by opposition and civil society, but killings started the first day. A young boy, only 15-year-old, was shot dead. Demonstration went on almost 3 weeks, despite the repression by security forces under supervision of the regime, and our radio was closed on the 2nd day of the demonstrations. 2 weeks later, there was a coup attempt by a group of military generals, and an attempt that failed. The aftermath of these failed coups was a pretext of repressing opposition. The regime get opportunity to destroy 4 private radios he considered as its enemy, including API, my radio, which is the most hated. Attacks by security forces and intelligence service agents, accompanied by a young organization called Imbonerakure, affiliated to the ruling party, targeted all independent radio stations, destroyed their buildings, vehicles, and all radio station material. The security forces and the militia affiliated to the regime were so furious that they shot on computers and all items which were inside radio station. APR station, my radio, has been totally burned. 4 of our vehicles were subsequently looted by the same regime. Therefore, with these attacks, alongside the threats we suffered, my fellow journalists and we were forced to save our lives. We flee to Rwanda, one of our boarding countries. We could not give up our mission. We are committed to delivering information, preventing killings and corruption, educating people to human rights and good governance, respecting Constitution and Arusha agreements. We then organized from Rwanda and initiated a new magazine which is broadcasting every evening from 8 to 9 p.m. on a shortwave frequency. We have realized that our fellow citizens were more in danger. They were killed in broad daylight, and radio, still working in Burundi, could not report the real facts because it is those in power who is about to kill its population. And thank God, Burundi had reached a high level of freedom of expression. Even nowadays, despite killings that prevail in my country, the terror state prevailing in there, Burundians keep informing us of what is happening in the country. They do not give information easily as before, but in their affair, they succeed to get in touch with our team and contact us regularly. Finally, while destroying radios, they thought they definitely forced all journalists to exile. However, despite the threat of the regime, the ruling party and Nkurunziza realized bitterly that even from exile, we continue our commitments and we are worse enemies of the oppressing regime. If they could reach us, they would have eliminated all of us. In such conditions, the only remaining a realistic solution was to flee my country and go to Rwanda. I left Burundi in May 2015 for Rwanda, and I came to Germany in March of this year, where I continue my work as journalist for my radio. I will go back in Kigali in March 2017, since the term of my scholarship comes to its end. So thank you for all, for listening, and for your patience. God bless you.
Thank you, Ines. I would now, maybe I have prepared some questions, but I'm also open for questions from you. So maybe I'll just begin with a very private question. Parts of your family are still in Burundi. And how is the situation now? How do they manage in daily life? So how do we have to imagine the situation? Because I think we can say that the last escalation of violence was in December last year. So how is it now for them and also for the population in general?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that question. It's true. My family is still in Burundi and they manage as other Burundians. It's so difficult for all Burundians today to live, to think about the future, because you never know if the day will be peaceful. So you said that the violence, the last was in December. It's true, but till now, every day there are people who are killing. In December, it was attacks from opposition group, from rebel group, but since that time, no other attacks. But till now, government every day we found bodies of people who are killed by who? By the regime on place. So my family, like other Burundians, are afraid. They live in that terror, poverty, and it's not easy for us to think about. We think always about our family, about all Burundians, but especially about our family. If tomorrow it's okay, what about if today it's okay, what about tomorrow? So it's difficult. All Burundians live in sad condition.
If I may ask, how do you stay in contact with your family? Is it through WhatsApp, or what are the means of communication at the moment?
WhatsApp, telephones, emails, yeah.
Okay, so social media is also working? It's not blocked by the government?
No, never. It was blocked just the first times of troubles. They blocked WhatsApp, but it's okay now. Yeah, it was for a short time, but it's okay. We keep contact with our families.
But do you think that there is a surveillance, for example, of WhatsApp communication or something like that?
No, well, Burundi is not a developed country, so it will be difficult for them to control all that communication.
Okay. As you said, you and your colleagues are now working from outside, but you're still, there is this 1 hour radio program every day in the evenings, and also you have the website. So can you describe a little bit how you do that? Because working from outside about a situation in a country is not easy.
It's very, very difficult, but we keep contact we have in Burundi. As I told in my speech, Burundians have more confidence in us, journalists. So we had stopped a time, about 2 months, I think. But when we reprint once again, they have been like they are survived. Yeah, so they continue to give us information. We keep our contact, but we have to protect them, because if they are discovered, they are killed. So when we get
témoignage, witness reports.
When we have report, I think I mean from a civil Burundian who is still in country, we have to change his voice so that he can be recognized. Because if he is recognized, he is killed. So we have our contacts, but we have to control to verify if the information is true. So it's not easy for us, because we can't go to see by our eyes what is happening. We can't go asking what we want. So we have to take long time and to pay attention, so that we do something that is true, not we could be easily manipulated. So we have, thank God, we have our contacts, and we're still working hardly, but we do that.
Are there already some questions in the audience? So then I've had some other ones. if we look now, at the, how can I say, at the conflict in general, many observers of Burundi, they want the world that there is another ethnic conflict in the making in Burundi, as there has been. Is the current conflict an ethnic one?
No, it's not ethnic. The current crisis is about the third term of the President Nkurunziza, which is illegal. So, among the opposition, amongst civil society organization, political parties, they are both ethnic, Hutu and Tutsi. So it's true, the regime tried to use that face of thing, because in former last years, conflicts who were in Burundi was about ethnic, Hutu against Tutsi, or Tutsi, yeah. But now they try to use that to change the really question, which is the origin of the crisis, but it's not working. I thank God we Burundians have passed out about ethnical histories. So regime tried to use that to see that it can revert Hutu ethnic against Tutsi, but it's not doesn't working. Among people who are killed, there are many Hutu. Even Tutsi are killed, but there are also many Hutu. So it's not the problem today. The problem is political. The third term, which is not legal. Yeah.
Can you explain that? Why is the population not responding to the government trying to introduce this ethnic hatred?
Okay. Because now the regime is Hutu. They come on regime after 30 years of power. Tutsi were in power, and then Hutu go to rebels, create rebel movement, because they see they are discriminated by Tutsi who were in power a long time, and now Tutsi have made their thoughts. Now we, after 10 years already, Hutu are on regime. They killings, they stole the hijacking money of public. So Burundians have realized that it's not about ethnic, it's about people who are on the power. So we have Tutsi, we had Tutsi, now we have Hutu. It's almost the same. So it's not about ethnic, it's about the person. Yeah.
Do you think that it will stay that way, or is the government still trying to do that? Do you think there is a danger that this could come?
No, I don't think so. Maybe the government can continue to try this way, but it's a long time already they do that, but people don't respond. It will not work in our country. I think so, and I hope so. Yeah.
If you look at the future, or maybe let's first have a look at the present. So we have still the regime in power, but the regime is under pressure. Can you maybe describe a little bit why things are now getting more difficult for the regime? We talked about it before. It's very interesting, your point of view.
Yeah. It's getting difficult for the regime, even he's still in the power, because they don't have. Burundi is a poor country. We are poor.
A poor country?
Yeah, a poor country. We don't have enough money to function. To the regime, the government needs help of community,
from international community, like aid.
For Africa, for Europe, America. So even with the third term, because the international community have told to the president, don't do that, it's not really, it's illegal. You must leave the power and give the place to others. So he don't follow the advice they give to him. So the majority of country partner of Burundi stopped the help they give to the country since June, July last year. So we don't have resources to have money. It's difficult now for the government to find money to continue to pay
the security forces, especially, right?
Yeah, the security forces, no, even other les fonctionnaires,
like civil servants.
Yeah, civil service. So it's getting hard for him, and even with the military who was peacekeeping in other African country, the European Union stopped to give money directly to the government. They want that money go straight to the military, Burundian military. The money who was given to the government was used for other things. It's that European don't want. So it's getting hard. We don't have resources in our country to live without those help. So it's more hard in our country, and people are living in poverty. It's very worse. I think they could not stay there for a long time without any help. It will be a catastrophic situation in our country.
Yeah. So for the international community, it's also a dilemma, because they don't want to fund this regime, but they want to support the population. And as you know, many Burundians have left the country. Many went also to Tanzania in refugee camps. So we have those both sides. How do you think, what will the future bring under this condition? Because the normal people, but also the government is getting more financial pressure to hold up like security forces, like civil servants. What do you think will happen under these circumstances?
The international community have kept some financial help who go straight to the population, the small projects done by population, not to give money to the government, because even they give money to the government to do some project, government didn't do that. So it's the same. They must stop if they want to constrain the regime to negotiation, because now he didn't want to negotiate with the opposition. He have many revendications, so that they don't negotiate it. But if it's still in that way, I think they still don't have long time to stay there. Yeah.
What is your recommendation for the international community, or especially for a country like Germany? What should we do to prevent this crisis?
It's a difficult question, but okay, to prevent, they had to prevent before, but it was difficult. They do their job. Burundi is a country, democratic, sovereign, so they have to respect something. A country, smallest it is, but all countries have to be respected. But now, it's not the same. I think they have to to use more pressure as possible, so that government see that they can't give up. They can't to constrain them to accept dialogue, because we try all this. They try, I think, all this time, no violence. They try to prevent that violence. But if it is still like it is, it's still like it is. They give also time of rebel movement to prepare them. So if they get ready, for sure they will attack the country. And so,
by rebel movements, you mean opposition movements,
I think,
arming themselves?
Yeah, army. Yeah, they exist some group who declare they are taking army to fight the regime in Burundi. So they give them time, but it's difficult. It's difficult to. But I see. As I don't think, I don't know if it will be like I see, but I see even in full time in the future, a small future, it could be a war in country. So it's
okay.
It's not good as a person, a generation who grow up in crisis. We had arrests, a small time of calm, and now we return in that. So it's not difficult. We think about till when we have to live in that situation. So now we are in exile. We can say we'll go back last year and in 2 years or 3. So difficult. And if you see what is happening in the country, it's getting worse. So
you think it's more likely that the open violence between different groups will come back, that violence will stop?
I think it must come back. Suddenly.
It's a sad perspective.
Yeah, it's the reality.
Yeah.
What happened in Russia and in Turkey. Thank you very much. After what you have seen what happened in Russia and Turkey, and even in a member state of the European Union in Hungary, do you still have hope that there will be a change in Burundi? Burundi, a country that, to be honest, most of the people don't even know where it is. The focus is on Hungary, the focus is in Turkey and Russia. And you may know what's happened with the press there. So don't you feel very sad about that, what the European Union and especially Germany is doing, or better, it's not doing for the press freedom? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for your question. But it's true, Burundi is a small country, unknown country, and what the community, international community, Germany and other countries do. There are many problems in the world, it's true. And I think before reacting, before do something for another country, it's priority the country has an interest there. It's the first, I think, motivation to intervene in such country. So in Burundi, we have to keep hope. It's difficult, it's true, and it happened in a period when there are many problems in the world, even in the developed country, which is getting attention for community, more attention than our country. But as a Burundian, as one who hope to live in a peaceful country, I keep hope that things will change. Things can change from intervention of international community, like they can change by the action of Burundians. So it will take time, but it will happen. I keep hope.
I have 3 questions. One, what is the position of the African Union in Addis Ababa? Second, is there any way of getting the International Court in Den Haag involved in accusing persons in Burundi? And third, what do you think will happen after the third
presidential term?
Term is ended?
Thank you.
I begin by the last question. You ask what will happen after the third presidential term. After, to mean in 5 years. I think they will not go till the end. It's not difficult. It's not possible. As I told, things are getting worse. It's becoming more bad and bad and bad. To think that they could stay on regime 5 years, it's not possible. I think before the end, it will be a change. And I hope that, it's not possible.
About the ICC, International Criminal Court in Den Haag. The question is if the ICC would not be a possibility to conflict resolution. But Burundi just said that they won't get out of the... en français, c'est la Cour... Ouais, c'est ça.
Oh, Burundi decided to get out, it's okay. But the decision will begin, it will be effective in 1 year. And ICC had begun examen.
Yes, a preliminary
exam. Yeah. They get information of what is happening in country to see that it's in their competence so that they could. If they want, I say always that if they want, they could punish the responsible of that crime before the effective getting out of Burundi of ICC, because they have many cases at ICC. The Department of UN about human rights have told about humanity crimes, which is in the competence of ICC. So if they want, they could do faster than what they do and repair things before the...
So to summarize, the ICC would have 1 year to get into action. And
but even when a country is not member of that, if UN...
The Security Council.
Told to the ICC to look about what is happening, like in South Sudan, could be. It's not easy like if the country is member, but it could be done. So now they have again 1 year, and they have cases on their table. They can begin and do something before that year. Before that period, who could be more difficult than now. Yeah.
So this could be a solution in your opinion?
Yeah, it's a solution because the big problem is not to leave crimes non-punished. It's not good. They must punish the responsible so that even Alda, who had that heart, who had that idea, see that something, somewhere, Burundians also can be restored in their rights. Yeah.
The third was about the African Union, about their position on Burundi.
About African Union, you know, African Union is made by African country, and the majority of African presidential are like our president, so they don't speak loud. Their position, they try to give time to him, maybe to see the revendication, the opposition will getting tired. But when you see what they do, they have even a power. They have a power. They can constrain our presidential to the negotiation. But still now, 1 year passed, they don't do something. I think the problem is that the majority of the African presidential are like Pierre Nkurunziza. So to take hard decision to the Burundi cases means one day, tomorrow, after tomorrow, it will be their day. So they have to. It's the problem.
Mm. I think we have time for one last question. Yeah, please.
Hello. One question, because I'm very interested in how you do your work. You said that most of your colleagues also had to leave the country, right? Yeah. So are they're not all in Germany, probably not in the same city. So you have to coordinate your work. You have a show in the evening, which is 1 hour, so maybe you do a few minutes and your colleague does a few minutes. So how do you coordinate who does what and who talks to which informant in Burundi? And yeah.
The majority of journalists, my colleagues who leave Burundi, they are in the same country, in same city, Kigali. So it's easy to work there. We have a small office. We go there like all journalists. We talk about subjects, information we have to trade that day, and dispatch, job, work like we do. So we have our contact in the country. We try to get more information about the subject we will treat. It's difficult to tell that, but the good thing is that we are almost 20 who is in the same city, so we can work.
But while you're here in Germany, how do you manage it while you're here?
Okay. Also because of the technology, we keep contact by social radio, WhatsApp. We have a group. We talk about our subject every morning. So if I have an information to give, I communicate to them. So we discuss of what I have to do, the person I have to contact, or I propose them what I want, how I want to do the report. So I prepare it. I have my recorder, my computer. I arrange my report and send by email. Huh?
Yeah, interesting. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you can say how we could maybe listen to your program. Is that possible on the website?
Yeah, It's possible on the website. Our website is
RPA, I think. I think, but I found it with Google. So if you use the French acronym, it's
in French.
RPA.
Mm-hmm.
It's in French.
www.rpa.bi, and our magazine is in 2 languages, French and our mother language. So we have a time for diffusion on frequency shortwave, but we
share.
We share it by social media, also WhatsApp, Viber, Twitter, so that we could give it to many people as possible. So it works, and we have feedback. The Burundians, even in the side of country, they getting information from us because the radio who's still working in Burundi couldn't do what we do. They have to talk about things who is good, only good. They can't treat the situation as is.
Yeah, and many people in Germany don't know that most Africans use a portable. So was it? Mobile phone, yeah. So I think many listen to the program also with their mobile phones, right?
Yeah. It's the big innovation we had. Thank God that we have internet, mobile phone, WhatsApp also, because it helps us in that crisis, because we get
breaking news.
We get breaking news or what's happening in Burundi by WhatsApp if they arrested someone because
disparition. I'm blocked. If people disappear.
Yeah, people are vanished in our country. So when we get the breaking news, if you are arrested in a way, when someone know you can give the breaking news, that person is arrested, and most of the time is the last time we see you. Now there are many Burundians, we don't know where they are. If they have been killed, if they are imprisoned, if we don't know. We will know it after the crisis, maybe. So it's difficult. It's to show that the situation, the bad situation Burundians lives in. You see your children going to school. You never know if they will come back. Your parent go to the job. You never know he will coming back. So it's difficult, and maybe it will change, but it must change. It will change.
Yeah, I think we close our discussion by this hope, and thank you very much for listening, for coming, and I hope you get some impression about working as a journalist, as a Burundian journalist. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.